Yo, what's up, Odd Squad? So in this one, we're gonna be talking about the NFL Wild Card Weekend reaction. So yeah, let's get right into that. The first game of the weekend was the Colts and Bills. So it was a pretty good game. The score was 27-24 in favor of the Bills. Really close to the score that I had of, I believe, 30-24. So yeah, that's always a good prediction for me. I did have the Bills winning as well, but some things that happened where the Colts just could not get it done. Honestly, the Colts made some mistakes that ended up being big throughout the game, such as a missed field goal, dropping some picks, and then obviously the coach challenged this one call that was just really a boneheaded challenge, and it really suffered a timeout for us, and overall could have changed the scope of the game. So yeah, Bills won that one. The Bills will be facing the team that we'll be talking about later because I don't want to spoil anything if you guys don't know about it yet. So let's get into the next one, the Rams and Seahawks. So that was a pretty interesting game as well. We always expect Russell Wilson to have a really good game, and he just did not this game. He was 11 for 27. That's just not. It's not gonna do it in the playoffs, especially as a quarterback of your caliber. You should be doing something way higher than that, way better than that. And on the Rams side of things, they played pretty good defense. They could run the ball very well versus the Seahawks. Uh, Jared Goff ended up coming in after the other quarterback got injured, Wolford, even though he was already a backup and Goff was a starter, but they were just trying to groom Goff back into the playing style after breaking his thumb or whatever happened. So yeah, the Rams won that one as well, 30-20. I did have the Seahawks winning that one, so that's 1-1 so far. We'll see what the next ones give me. So next one we had Bucks and Washington. Now this was a pretty good game too. I'm not gonna lie, I was rooting for Washington because I'm not the biggest fan of people that gas Brady, but honestly, I did expect the Bucks to win, as I said in my predictions. And they did just that. They won 31-23. So football team gave up a really respectable game. Taylor Heineke, who knew he was gonna start? He started. He played pretty well. People are calling him the White Lamar Jackson. So hey, maybe he's gonna be there for the long run. We'll have to see. Um, yeah, the football team they played better than most people would have thought. Like they only lost by what 8 points. So I got to give them props for that. Brady, he played an okay game, 22 for 40. That's not that good. And then also he had two touchdowns, so he had a pretty decent game. They had a really good potent rushing attack with Fournette. Almost had 5 yards per carry. So yeah, the Bucks won that game as expected though. But yeah, that was a good game for them. Now the next game we have is the Ravens and Titans. Now this was a really really good, interesting game. Honestly, we seen the Ravens and Titans, who have a big rivalry after the Titans beat them last year and in the regular season this year. The Ravens and Titans were a big, big rivalry, and the Ravens ended up getting the best of the Titans this time, as I predicted as well. So we're 3-1 now. The Ravens won 20-13. Lamar Jackson didn't have the best game if you just look at passing stats, but once you look at running stats, he had over 130 yards rushing and also a touchdown. So once you look at it, Lamar had a pretty decent game, but you still want to see some better passing out of Lamar. He had 7 incompletions, so it wasn't a terrible game, but that interception just makes it look bad. Of course, with no passing touchdowns as well. Now, from the Titans side of things, with Derrick Henry just really getting clamped, he had 2,000 yards on the season, and people expecting him to play be great no matter what happened, but nope. Versus the Ravens, they shut that down. 18 carries for 40 yards on just 2 yards per carry. That's a terrible game for Derrick Henry, being one of the best, if not the best, running back in the league. And without the running game happening for the Titans, they just could not get it done on offense, scoring only 13 points. Now, the next game we had was the Bears and Saints. Like, we all knew how that one was going to come out. I'm sorry, but for any Bears fan that hears this, but yeah, we knew how this was going to come out. The Bears just don't have enough on offense, and it didn't help that they had injuries and things like that. So I do feel remorse for the Bears, of course, but honestly, the Saints were just the better team. I can't say that I expected more out of them. So first off with the Bears, Mitch Trubisky, we're not sure if he's going to come back next season. So maybe he threw his last pass as a Bear, which ended up being a touchdown. So that's good. So yeah. And then David Montgomery, he just couldn't get anything done. 2.6 yards per carry. Allen Robinson, it could also be his last game as a Bear as well, especially after they didn't choose to extend his contract during the season at all. And he really voiced his problem with that because he feels like he's probably the best player on the team. And I have to agree with him. Offensively, for sure, he's the best player on the team. So that's really shocking that the Bears didn't get that done. But we'll have to see for the Bears. They have a pretty promising future. If they can get a quarterback, if they have a really good running back, if they can get Allen Robinson back, then hey, they could be right back at that spot, but maybe just higher and have a home field advantage next time. So we'll have to see about that. They did go 12-4 before. So, hey, we'll see if the Bears can get it done next year. But in this one, the Saints advanced, as I also said. So we're now at 4-1. You know, the Saints, they got their job done. I mean, they didn't play the best game. Drew Brees he played a pretty solid game. Kamara played a pretty good game as well. So I don't know. Overall, I feel like they could have scored more points, just 21 points. But the Bears do have a really good defense, so I can't blame them. But yeah, I mean, the Saints won the game. They'll be playing in the next round. We'll have to see what they can do. And then the final game of the weekend was Browns and Steelers. Now, this, as I said, was the biggest rivalry of the season for sure. You know, Juju saying statements like the Browns are the Browns, and the Browns clowning that, and the Browns dancing when they won, and Juju dancing when they lost, and things like that. So, you know, a really, really huge rivalry, and they play 2 times a year, every year. So, obviously, they have big things going on there. And overall, in this one, the Steelers jumped out playing terrible from the jump. The Browns started off the game in the first quarter up 28 to not a thing. So honestly, the Browns from the jump, we thought they were going to win. The Steelers tried to mount a comeback. They just couldn't get it done. So overall, the Browns won 48 to 37. You know, the Steelers, they gave their best effort. They tried really hard, but they just could not overcome that performance that the Steelers came out with. Honestly, Big Ben played good but bad at the same time. Honestly, it was really bad because he had 4 interceptions. He started off the game, I want to believe, is 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So he did not have a really good game at all. But he ended up having 4 touchdowns and 500 yards. So I guess you could say he made up for it. Over 60 attempts passing the ball on 47 completions. So, I mean, take it how you take it. But it was a really crazy and different game. But the Browns overall defeated them, and they were clowning them on IG Live, TikTok, all those things, dancing on logos, dancing in the locker room, saying the Browns are the Browns. You know, hey, we'll have to see about that one. So, next up, we got the Browns facing the Chiefs, and we have the Ravens facing the Bills on the AFC side of things. So, for that one, I'm going to have to say the Browns and Chiefs, first off. I'll say that the Browns will end up losing to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just well rested, and obviously they're the better team. Patrick Mahomes is gonna probably dime up that defense. The Browns do not have a good defense whatsoever. Despite Big Ben throwing 4 interceptions, I still don't. I think they have playmakers, but I just don't think they can contain a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes because he is no Big Ben. He is great, and he's probably the best quarterback in the league. So I'll say the Chiefs will win this one in a pretty decent game, though, because I believe the Browns are like a top 3 offense. So playing the best offense, granted, but I think it'll be a pretty good game, a really high-scoring game, hopefully. We'll have to see. The next one is the Ravens and Bills, also on the AFC side. So this is a really tough game to predict. I'm not sure who's going to win this one. I want to say the Bills will come out with this one due to the Ravens looking a bit limited. I had to say the Bills are just, once again, they're the hottest team in the league right now, honestly. They have a really good, potent offense, good defense, so I think they win this one as well. So I got the Chiefs and Bills advancing to face each other in the AFC Championship game. So on the NFC side of things, we got the Rams and Packers and the Bucks and Saints. So first off with the Rams and Packers, now, this is also a really good game, but the Rams, I mean, I believe they're limited at the quarterback spot. They could play a great game, but it's not guaranteed. So I have to go with the Packers having A-Rod, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, and then they also have a capable defense of doing some big plays. Not the best, but they have the capability of making big plays when it's needed. Also, they have probably a top 3 corner in the league, if not the best corner, Jair Alexander, to like suppress Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods, anybody that they put on him. So, yeah, I think the Packers will get this one due to the Rams being limited, but they do have a great defense. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get to A-Rod and things like that after losing their best O-lineman back to Yari, but I think that A-Rod and the Packers will get this one. I think they're just the better team, honestly. So next up, we got the Bucks and Saints. Now, the Saints beat the Bucks 2 times in the regular season. Do I think they're going to be 3 times in this season overall? I simply do not. I believe that the Bucks will win this game, honestly. I just think although the Saints own the Bucks, I would just have to say the Saints they're just not good enough to compete with the Bucks at the highest level. I feel like the Bucks, when they're trying at their hardest, could beat almost any team in the league. Now, it hurts for me to say it just because I don't believe in the Bucks as much as other people do, and I believe people just gas them just because they have people that we're not even gonna talk about that. But honestly, I just think that the Bucks will win this one. I think they have the better, personnel, better coach. No, not better coach, better quarterback. And I think they're just overall, if they play at their best, they're just a more talented team. Now, the Saints, granted, do have probably the best defense in the playoffs right now, and their offense, I just think, is limited with Drew Brees, honestly. And I think the Bucks will win this game. I just have a feeling that the Bucks will win this game. They have Tom Brady behind them, so I think that the Bucks and Packers will play in the NFC Championship, and the Chiefs and Bills will play in the AFC Championship. So, all right, I'm already going almost to 12 minutes, so I'm going to end this one, guys. Thank you all for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And, yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.